Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you. And today, I was going back through the library of videos and I realized I don't even have a basic explanation video on Winstrol anymore. And I think I was so worried and focused about, we got to do different topics and this and that, and I just blew it off. So we got to do that. So today's video is just going to be all about Winstrol, just background, basic information, everything you want to know about Winstrol. But before we get into that, just a big shout out and thank you to everybody supporting the channel. If you haven't yet, please like, share, subscribe, whatever you can do to help the channel grow. It is thoroughly appreciated. Now, today's video is sponsored by letsgetchecked.com. Let's Get Checked specializes in at-home blood testing. They are literally at the top of the market on at-home blood testing now. They've become so popular. They are literally the best, and I don't say that lightly. It is amazing. All you have to do, go to the website, pick and choose whatever test you want, and they do it all. They've got all tests for men, women, specific tests. Then they've got full hormonal tests. They've got general wellness tests, sexual health, COVID testing. They do it all. So simple. Go order whatever test you want. Use the code Gemelli30 to save 30% off so then you can buy more tests. All you got to do, place your order. They're going to ship it to you fast, discreet. You can get it overnighted. Otherwise, it's coming priority. Take the test, turn around, mail it right back. Your results are all going to be online extremely fast. You've got nurses and doctors there to answer your questions at all times. So it's fast, reliable, efficient, and discreet. Use the code Gemelli30 at letsgetchecked.com to save 30% off your entire order. So, let's just talk about Winstrol, all right? We're just going to do all the basics and cover it all, like I said. So, essentially, we know Winstrol is an anabolic steroid. Now, it's used to get lean and hard. It's mainly used as an oral during cutting cycles to kind of, some people to lose body fat, some people to gain lean muscle, to really harden up and sculpt up. Now, it's a variant of DHT, which is dihydrotestosterone, so you can expect similar fat loss benefits as you would with any other DHT derivative steroid. So, a lot of people, it's a lot cheaper version or alternative to Anavar. Now, due to the modifications at its A ring, it's a really, really unique steroid, all right? It's got unique cutting abilities. To me, it's a top 3 cutter out there, and I've done videos on this. It's definitely one of my favorites. Now, you don't need to worry about Winstrol converting to estrogen like any other DHT. They do not convert to estrogen, which is obviously how you stay so dry on it. Now, Winstrol has some other capabilities that I love. It has the ability to lower your SHBG, all right, which is your sex hormone binding globulin, very similarly to how Proviron does. So SHBG itself is a hormone, and what it does is it binds to other steroids in your cycle, making them useless. It just neutralizes them. So with Winstrol, it has the ability to actually lower your SHBG, and that's going to free up bound testosterone, which I've talked about several times, and it allows you to get a lot more out of your cycles. Now, if you stacked Winstrol and Proviron, that would be pretty sweet because of the amounts of reduction there for your SHBG, and it's really going to maximize your effectiveness on cycle period. Now, keep in mind that Winstrol does have the ability to help lower estrogen, but in no way, shape, or form does it actually replace an aromatase inhibitor. It has anti-estrogen properties, which are definitely helpful, but do not attempt to replace it for Aromasin or Arimidex. Now, when you use it during cycle, Winstrol, you're going to look to be lean, hard. That's what you can expect. But during longer, harsher bulking cycles, it might not possibly be your best choice. And the reason is because the painful joint occurrences on here. So I like Winstrol in bulking. Let me put it to you like this. Winstrol, if you're going to do a bulking cycle, and your idea or thought is, I want to use Winstrol here to help me kind of control or alleviate some of the excess fat that could be put on there, it's fine and it's good if you don't get joint pain side effects, all right? But if you do, it's not smart when you're bulking because you're already, think about when you're putting excess amounts of weight on, and especially fast, it's a ton of pressure on your joints, ligaments. A lot of times you'll notice when you get extremely strong in your cycles and you get, too heavy too fast, you're going to develop tendonitis in these areas, and Winstrol is the last thing you're going to want there. So then that would tell me, well, look to Anavar as opposed to Winstrol, or look at some cutting SARMs, S4, ACP 105, even a T-ball. But Winstrol may not be the best option for this reason. But if you're not, having those problems and can kind of tolerate it, Winstrol is sweet on a bulking cycle. I never have had joint issues with it, so I've anytime and rarely have I ran bulking cycles, but when I have, it's generally involved. Or anytime there's a possibility of like more weight gain than I want, Winstrol or Anavar's involved. I've just never, luckily, I'm blessed to not have had those issues. But now, the older I get, the less I want to use. Winstrol's too harsh for me anymore. Just like everything else, where I'm only really sticking to Anavar and Primo. But that's an entirely different topic. We know that it's more acceptable during a cutting cycle, maybe with the joint pain, but where the weight training is a little lighter, I guess. But when it's heavy, listen. You don't want that going on. It's just going to be more and more problematic than a lot of things that you already have when you're bulking because of the side effects. The idea, like I said, you want to help keep your cycle clean, but use Anavar instead or something else, some of the other options, because it's just, you're going to save yourself a lot of unnecessary pain and discomfort, and then also you're not going to do as well on your cycle or get the most out of it. Now, a couple other things about Winstrol. People will ask, can you drink Winstrol? Okay. So, first of all, just so you understand with oral steroids, it's a 17-alpha alkylated steroid. So that means it's designed to not be destroyed when it first enters your liver. And that's going to allow it to enter your bloodstream. Now, if your steroid is not 17-AA or methylated, it's not going to be able to endure the first pass through the liver, and it's going to be destroyed right away. So when you're taking injectable steroids, for example, like Deca, I guess, would be an example, you can't drink it. It has to be injected, all right? Now, we look at Winstrol. It's usually produced both in oral and injectable forms, but both forms use the same raw materials, all right? So the injectable version can be taken orally, but I don't know that that's necessarily the best route to go and not something I personally care for. I don't like drinking the carrier oils. I don't think that's wise. I personally don't think it's as effective. Some people say it is. I've tried it. I didn't find it to be, and I've ran Winstrol several times. To each their own. You can do it. I don't personally like it. Do whatever you like. That's just my opinion. Who cares, right? So, you can, like I said, you can take it or inject it, but injections are usually pretty painful, and they're normally water-based, and doing it daily, even every other day, it can be a fucking pain, and I mean literally. So for men, doses, I would not exceed 50 milligrams per day. And as a woman, I don't really care for women running it, but 5 to 10 milligrams is more acceptable for women. I've seen like bodybuilders, female bodybuilders going up to 20. I hate that. I don't like that at all. To each their own. You do whatever you like, and some women can tolerate it. But I think that the risk versus reward there for my liking is not there. Now for men, I say 50 milligrams. If you can get over 50 milligrams, God bless you. But I swear to you, by like week 3, 4, your liver is going to be hating your guts. Your cholesterol is going to suck. Even with protection, you're going to probably be getting super lethargic. You're going to have joint pain, etc. if you keep going too high. I know for me, just personally, once I get to week 5, it's like I'm done. I'm done. All the best is over now. I just feel like shit. And, orals do that too, even with protection. Now, injecting it, like I said, it's so painful and not worth it. It's just not. If you are one of the blessed that can get away with it, by all means, go for it. I certainly can't. And I don't like it at all. But to each their own. These are opinions on certain things I'm giving you. But I'm giving you real life experiences over 15, 20 years of usage, coaching, whatever. And observing. Obviously, I haven't been using them that long, but still quite a long time. Just understand that more is not always better. And oftentimes people live under that misconception, and then they ruin their cycles and ruin themselves. Don't use it any longer than 6 weeks, no matter how you take it. That's more than enough. 4 to 6 weeks is plenty. 40 to 50 milligrams for a man, like I said, 5 to 10 for a female. That's really all I'm going to recommend. And while the toxicity is going to be far less while injecting it and drinking it, there is still some present, so don't think that there's not as well. But understand that whether you're taking it orally or injecting it, the dose itself it's not going to change. Now, the half-life is 8 to 9 hours. And the active half-life of injectable Winstrol is 24 hours. I'm just going to tell you straight up. I've taken Winstrol, 5-6 times at least. I've split the doses, and I've compared it with taking the dose all at once. Never saw one difference. If you're going to base it on the numbers and what people say, I would split the dose. I got no issue either way. I am just telling you from what I've observed and from other people that I've told go ahead and try it. They say, yeah, there's no difference whatsoever. Just try whatever you're comfortable with. If you are like dead set on splitting it, by all means do it. All right? Because I'm all about getting the most out of your cycle, but I don't find it necessary. The injections, like I said, generally they're done daily. So just understand that if you're committing to that, it's going to be a long one for you. Even though 6 weeks or 4 weeks doesn't sound that long, you start getting welting up and feeling that post-injection pain, you're going to, yeah. So anyway, let's talk about the side effects. The most common side effects, and that you've already heard me talk about, is the dry joints. And that can cause some serious pain for some people. So you've got to at least look at maybe some joint supplements, drink plenty of water, etc. I would look at maybe glucosamine, chondroitin, MSM, calcium, collagen, vitamin C. These are all things that can help. Look for joint formulas that have all of that in there. That's helpful, so you don't have to take all of them separately, because that can be tedious, and for some people it's quite annoying, which I understand. Then there's the toxicity, which is a whole other thing, especially when we're talking oral form. You must protect not only your liver, but your blood pressure, your lipids, your kidneys, other vital organs. Winstrol is known to be a cholesterol crusher. It sucks on cholesterol. So oftentimes I've told people, look at GW 501, 516 along with your protectants, because it was designed to help with cholesterol, and it does tremendous there. And MK2866 stacked in there helps with joints, or MK677 or HGH, things like that you might want to look at with Winstrol. I'm not saying you need to, but these are other options out there. Also, it's a DHT steroid, which means it can be really harsh on your hair. If you're prone to male pattern baldness and you're worried about losing hair, don't use Winstrol. Seriously, that's just ridiculous. If those are things of concern, or what you're looking at, because it's going to wreck your hair. If that's something you're prone to. If you're not prone to it, you got a good shot. It's not a guarantee, but you've got a lot greater likelihood of not having that issue. And then with injectable Winstrol, the pain, like I said, that's a side effect, obviously. Look, it's really popular for a really good reason, but you've got to respect it. Just like you do any other steroid, there's tons of benefits there that can be had and utilized, but there's a lot of problems that can occur too, especially if you are abusive or don't respect the compounds and misuse them and just go about it all wrong, which a lot of people do. And hey, we all got to learn sometimes too. I've had to. I've got horror stories, but there's a reason I'm the way I am now. And it's not just all on personal experience. It's on so many, beyond observing people, like tasks, like clients that I get that are just a disaster and have just wrecked themselves. I've had to almost literally rebuild people from their hormones being trashed, from the ground up. And it's what I do, but it sucks to see, and that's why I stress a lot of these things. So this comes from me seeing it daily and going through it. I don't, like I say time and time again, I'm not your fucking dad, and I'm not trying to be, but I'm also trying to help you. That's what I'm here for. So that being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.